Welcome to another episode of Racing to Learn. We are a nonprofit that uses radio control to get kids excited about math and science. Now, we had taken our ECX Ruckus here out for some bashing, and it was cut short yet again, this time by a screw through the upper suspension link here that worked its way loose. So, note to self, always bring your tools. Let's see here. Always bring the appropriate tools with you when making a trip out to the track. Or bring more than one vehicle so that you're not hugely disappointed when one breaks. We've had a tough time keeping multiple vehicles running at the same time here. So that was the second option wasn't an option. All right. Oh, there's that spacer. Wheel spacer that stock ECX vehicles have. All right. So if it's not one side of the suspension, it's the other. On the other side, we had replaced our the broken drive shaft there with one off of a Traxxas. The number, I believe, where is it? It's the upgraded drive shafts basically for any of the Traxxas two-wheel drive vehicles. Here we go. The 6852X, so it still is a plastic drive shaft, which has its pros and cons. Today we are addressing this. Now this screw just worked itself loose. And I'm trying to figure out why. You know, usually, well, these coarse threaded screws do have a knack for working themselves loose. I am going to have to hold this somehow. Let me just get a driver here. But we are going to fix that with something with a more durable solution here. So I'm just going to get this old screw out. Now I might have to hold the pillow ball here with my finger. There we go. There's a plastic pillow ball. Oh wow, it just looks like it. There's a lot of plastic debris on that screw. So we're going to fix that because usually it's just the plastic that holds the screw in. We're going to put a nut and a screw through. Whoops. Didn't mean to kick the camera tripod there, but we're going to replace it with something like this. And this is probably going to be a little bit too long. But that's okay. Better too long than too short. Let me see if I have a shorter screw. And this is a metric. This one is maybe too short. I might just go with this. Alright, and maybe we'll stick with let me just gauge the length of it. That's probably going to be too short. I'm just going to go with this because we've got a lot of these laying around here. If memory serves me correct, that is probably a, I'll measure the actual length here. Whoop. So I'm not going off of memory. Let's get some calipers here for button head screws. You just measure the threaded length. That is an N, it looks like a 12. 12, oh, didn't show that on the camera there. That is a 12 millimeter, M3 by 12 screw that we're using, and a matching 3 millimeter bolt. And I'm gonna move on. I should really do this on the other side of the camera so that it's a lot more natural. Usually I'm sitting to the left of the tripod. I'm not sure why I decided to try and switch that up for today, but I'm going to switch it back. All right. That's much better. So you can actually, oh wow, you can actually see the plastic giving away here. And it's not like I even took that big of a jump. So somehow that screw worked itself loose or whatnot. Fortunately, we're not reusing that front hole because when the suspension was set up using that front hole, the tires were going in a little bit. That's what we call camber. Or you can call it positive or negative camber, but we're going to go ahead and use this screw. And I'm switching over to a hex head here while I'm at it. And I should grab my power driver. So one of the cons about the Ruckus is that it does come with Phillips head screws. Now, we could gradually switch this over to use hexes. Hexes are a lot less prone to stripping. I've got to hold that pillow ball in place with my finger here. And then I'm going to go ahead and line it up. No, that screw is too short. That's not going to work, because then we'll have no room for a retaining nut on the other side. Now the stock setup doesn't use a retaining nut, but we really don't want to run into the problem that we ran into earlier with this. So a 12 millimeter is going to be too short. And I'm going to have to use the power driver to get this screw all the way out of that plastic pillow ball, because that plastic pillow ball has become threaded over time. Wouldn't have that problem if we were using a metal pillow ball like we've got on the front suspension links there. We upgraded to the Traxxas ones, so I probably need an extra couple millimeters here. The thickness of that nut is about 4.5 millimeters. So just something with a little bit more length to it. Let's see what we've got here handy. Maybe we'll stick with, let's see how long this screw is here. So we want something in the 15 millimeter range. This is right about there. This is 14, maybe a little bit longer. Let me see what else I've got handy here in my box of screws. I may not have anything substantially longer here. Oh, this is nice. This is a tad longer. This is about a 15 as well. Okay, we'll use this. I think this is probably like the screw that we were originally going to use. No, a little bit longer. Perfect. So we are going to go with this. All right, so repeat the process. I should have probably measured this with a caliper since I had those calipers handy earlier. So instead of doing a little trial by error, we could have saved ourselves some time by just measuring. Measure twice, cut once. All right. Got that screw peeking out a little bit there, and then I'm going to go ahead. There we go. And you don't want to screw this all the way down because you want that pillow ball to actually be able to wiggle a little bit. And so we'll just hold that in place here and then get a nut on there. You need some thread lock on that screw. Just keep it in place. keep that thread lock handy because we will need to put that on the wheel stud. All right, where is, this is probably too big. Unfortunately, I don't have a better suited driver than this one, so I'm going to have to, it's kind of a pain. Alright, so now we've got a captured, fully captured screw there. Still got some wiggle to it. Perfect. That screw is never going to fall out. Again, never say never. Hopefully never. Alright, and we'll just get the wheel back on here. So, let's put some thread lock on the axle. You guys have probably seen me do this 100 times before, but we've had to do a lot of work on this truck. So, just popping the tire on, sitting it on the hex, make sure from the other side that it's fully seated. There we go. The Ruckus and Torment rear wheels use this weird spacer. I usually like to just pop it onto a hex driver so I can just go ahead and line things up and drop it down. And then get this, the nut, the wheel nut, throw it onto a driver, and actually you could do that same trick with the wheel nuts since they're recessed. Just put it on a hex driver, line it up with the threaded portion there of the axle. Get it standing straight up there, and then use your nut driver to screw it all the way in. So just to keep the steering geometry the same on both sides, we will go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. Unfortunately, it does require us to take off the wheel and tire on the other side as well, because that screw is recessed inside the wheel. I'll probably show you better from this angle. Right, so to get access to that screw, we do have to take off the wheel. So, thanks again for watching. Please let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you next time.